Okay, good afternoon all. Hope everyone has had a good weekend, slightly extended weekend. I think we had the Friday. It's bank holiday in the UK here, but I'm not doing nothing today, so I can trade. So trading as normal, I'm assuming. Whether it'll be a little bit quieter today or not with the bank holiday in the UK, probably not. It doesn't look like we've got a slower sort of any kind of less volume coming in today. It's kind of normalish. So Karina, good morning to you. Jan, how you doing? Exponential H, how you doing? Okay, so we had that gap down overnight and we've continued to come down. So I've got my channel like this, kind of doesn't look too bad around the midline, but there may be a small break and kind of a double bottom here. So it's hard to say at the moment. Still on micros. I think the ATR is just, it's still under 7. It's just a little bit big. Now I'm not far away from payout. So if the next 4 days runs well, I should be able to take some money out. So I don't want to risk more than I kind of need to at the moment. Once that ATR starts to settle a bit, I'll move back over. Ionis, how you doing? I'll move back over to the Mini. I do like the Mini. It's a bit easier to manage. So we've got to channel up with a break. It's hard to know whether this is kind of moving up or what. Speedy, how you doing, buddy? So I've got the ES up anyway. I haven't reloaded this. Let's reload it. I've got this on a sim just to kind of have a look at it. So then it's hard to say. I'm not really comfortable about going short here. There is a lower high, but I'm not sure whether that's the channel and there's a small break. It may be, but we could have 2 attempts to go lower and this could push up. Now the way that's triggered below there and pushing up, that to me, it's possibly a second entry long. But it's a little bit sideways here, so I'm just going to kind of sit tight here just in case. It's hard to say. So, I mean, we had that lower high there and it triggered and instantly started moving up, but it's continued back down again, so still not ready to go short just yet. I'm ready to buy Flowbots. Does anybody know the updates after the first year, or do you have to keep buying a flow? No. You get updates. If you go onto the website, it'll tell you. Usually you get an email, but we haven't had any updates that I know of. No, everything's free. Once you're paid for it, everything's free. There is a possible second entry long there. My only slight concern is there may also be a bit of a channel, so I don't want to go long there at the moment. It's a bit unclear. Is this a small break? Maybe. Is this a break and now we're moving down? It's hard to say. There may be a possible overshoot here if you keep this here. So there's too many variables at the moment. This does kind of look like it's moving down, doesn't it? But no, if you go onto the website, it'll tell you what at the moment we're running on 1.6.0.3. That's the most updated one that I've got that I know of. So unless anybody's got any kind of more updated. So that second entry did kind of work. I'm just not sure about this. We've got like what looks like a double bottom here. There may be a slight overshoot. There may be a slight break, but there may be a slight overshoot. So I'm just not ready to trade at the moment. So we'll kind of see what's going on. So most recent chart I've got from Dan is this, which is actually it's the same. So yeah, there may be a slight break there. He hasn't got it as an overshoot. That was about 30 minutes ago. So there may be a slight break there. I think it's negligible, isn't it, really? There is of failure there, but that's too far below the EMA, so I'm just sitting tight here at the moment. It does look like there may be a channel working down. But I'm not interested in that, because if we get a break from this, my gut feeling is it'll push up and take out areas like that. So I'm just sitting tight. There is what you may consider a second entry long there. Fail breakout if you think it's going sideways. But as I say, there's too many variables. Could go up, could go down. I think it's lifetime version I bought. Yeah. Yeah, when you purchase one, you've got different options. You can buy them for one machine or two machines, but when you purchase it, you get updates for life. So I want what no real software I think charges you for updates, do they? So no, I've been having updates from Flowbots for I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years, however long I've had it, and I've never been charged. So yeah, but yeah, 1.6. Let's have a look. That's the most recent one, 1.6.0.3, maybe a month, 6 weeks ago. I suppose the better this gets, theoretically, updates are probably going to get less and less. Would you think? Maybe. So the failure has worked for a bit. I'm just not sure about it at the moment. So depending on how many points you go for, you'd have certainly got 4 points out of it, depending on where you got in. But I'm just not sure about that. It's gone a bit too far for me. Ready to buy Flowbots? Yeah. There is. I've got a discount code somewhere. What is it? I think it's about, is it 15% off or 20% off? It did go up recently. It used to be $150 and then it went up. Oh, quick drop there. So breaking a new low. So maybe that was all the break was, and then down. So I think it's 15% off. I think it'll come up in a minute anyway. It is a great bit of software. It's one of the few bits of software I've got that I've just never had any issues with. So break and a new extreme. So that has played out. So 10,000 tick chart as well, channel down with a break, 2 pushes to a new low. So there's the break. I've got 1 push, 2 pushes, so it's played out. Now, it may continue down, you never know. So, yeah, I'm not sure what's going on here. Let's have a little look. We do seem to be trending down somewhat at the moment. I mean, Thursday was just kind of sideways, really. So let's just have a look at the daily. I haven't looked at the daily for a while. I did pick a $150,000 account up last night and passed it. Well, I say I passed it. I blew 2 first and passed the third one. I haven't had one of those for a long time, so I thought I'd give one a go just to trade a little bit more size. So daily. So we've kind of had these, we've had that push up, we've had that strong bull bar and it's triggered, but is this coming down? Could be. It's not super clear though, is it? So we had some problems. I think it was YouTube there was a problem with YouTube on Thursday, I think, wasn't it? I had about 900 views, which is pretty unusual for me. And I'm assuming by the count there, it was disconnected and reconnecting, which is why I think it was showing so many views. So there is a possibility of a second leg down here. I'm not so sure. There's a failure there. There's a bearish bar there, but I'm just not ready to take a trade here just at the moment. There may be a bit of support there, so I don't think there's any type of a larger channel there. I don't think so. Okay, so Dan has just adjusted his chart to this. He's moved his chart to there. Not sure about that. It doesn't really do much around the midline. Let's have a look at Mr. Wade, see what he's looking at. So Thomas has got that. I actually prefer that better. Reason being, look how it's reacting there, here, there, and here a few times. It's reacting nice off the midline there, so I actually kind of prefer that. Small break, 2 legs up, and then down to a new low. So I actually prefer that a little bit. And that's Thomas's. What does it look like? But bearing in mind, this is the MES. How does it look on here? Yeah, not terrible. Excuse me. Just check everything's
Order submitted.
Open.
Order canceled.
I like that, I do. Touch there, touch there, touch there with the brake. Kind of fits around the midline there, a little bit there and there as well. It's irrelevant anyway. I mean, whether we've had a brake here or a brake here, we've made a new extreme anyway. So channel, brake, 1, 2 pushes to a new low. Wow. So there's no news that I'm aware of whether there was strong buyers coming in there or whether something was tweeted in the news. 1, 2, 3. Is that a triple test? 1, 2, 3. I just don't like the fact that if there is a lot of buyers there, that was a strong move up. I mean, channel, break, 2 pushes to a new low. Is that a good place to buy for a swing trade if you're a swing trader? Not sure. I mean, there did seem to be a bit of support there, and all of a sudden a big, strong bull bar up there. I was kind of looking for maybe a higher low back to the EMA, but up it went. No EU market, but NQ is jumping. Is it really? You don't know. Somebody might have tweeted something. Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, we did seem to have a bull bar there. So whether we got a channel here with a break, 2 pushes to a new low, channel here with a break, 2 pushes to a new low. So everything's technically played out. So it may have just been strong buying coming in. That's just kind of as good as I've got, really. 1, 2, 3. Would you call that triple test? Don't like the stem. Don't like the fact that we had a strong push up. So I'm not really thinking about shorts, in all fairness. Everything has played out, so I think you've got to at least temporarily postpone shorts. Mind you, if you look on the 10,000 tick chart, we've got a big bull bar off the bottom here. 1, 2, 3. Is that a triple test to go long? It's triggered. This thing is on its way down. So doesn't look very good, does it? This looks like it's targeting this area and the way this is coming down. So it'd be interesting. That's the 10,000 tick chart. So 1, 2, 3. I mean, if you wanted to buy, ideally you want it to pick up that bit of liquidity, wouldn't you? and also that will give it a little bit of space to just push. If that's triggered like that, I'll be surprised if that comes all the way down and maybe a few points off breaking that. It has. It's broken it on there, but not here, which is unusual. We've had a matching low there, which is strange, that, because one's ES, one's MES. Not that it makes a difference, but I mean, really, at the moment, the overall look at it, it's bearish, so I wouldn't feel comfortable about going along there anyway. Trump on a firepower. China's still tough. Trump. The country agreed. Yeah, it's still a bit unclear, isn't it? The ATR is coming down. It's below 6 now. Once we get it to around about 4, I'll move back over. It's just too much risk, though. I mean, with the ATR being around about 5.5, just over 5.5, even one contract, it's $275 risk. It's a little bit more than I want, and that's if you get the average size bar. If it's slightly larger, could be 300 or a bit more. I don't really want to risk that at the moment. It's been difficult trading conditions lately. It's been choppy, really choppy. And I made the mistake of, I mean, look at that. I made the mistake of getting in and taking a loss. It wasn't an ideal trade that I took, to be honest with you. I should have stayed out of it. It was going along into the tops. I thought it was going, but the confirmation wasn't telling me that. So, but just look at this, chop, chop, chop. And then we got it all again, and then it's up here and down here. And it's not easy conditions at the moment, so you've got to be super patient. And I seem to have fallen foul of that a little bit and got myself into certainly a loss or two that I probably shouldn't have done. So channel down, 2 attempts to push higher. I think it's probably feasible. We have another leg down. Whether it's something like that. It does look like 2 attempts to push higher. I was looking for a lower high here, but we didn't really get it. Channel down, 1 attempt, even maybe call it a triple test. I just didn't like the stem. And there all of a sudden seemed to be some really strong buying. Now, whether it was just buying from the bottom and getting out the top, I don't know. But I don't like the stem, and we never got a lower high, so nothing really to get into there. ES didn't look any different, just congested. So, and the fact that everything's played out. So I think you know, certainly I'd feel more comfortable about waiting. So it does just look like a leg with a correction and a leg. It's relatively clear actually today, I've got to say. Some of it's clear. I mean, these are working down relatively clear. There's a lot less chop than there has been. I wouldn't even consider this chop really. It's just a couple of legs. But considering what it has been like, it's relatively clear so far. So that might be a channel down with a break, 2 pushes to a new low, but we are hitting this measured leg or close enough to it anyway. It's just unfortunate we didn't get anything decent there to go short. Okay, measured move. Right to the tick. Close right on top of it. Tick below it and close right on top of it. Now we're below it. So that's played out. Looks like it, Karina, doesn't it? It's not stopping. I mean, it is possible we have a larger channel down. Could be a leg down with a correction. It's possible. Thomas Wade, let's just clear this up a minute. Thomas Wade has got that. No, not a fan. That I think would fit better. And that would work here, here, and here. We've got a touch, a touch, a touch. How's it fitting with the midline? It's not terrible. I mean, regardless, we had a break, a new low, and a retest, and then we had a correction, and we're down again. So this thing's looking more on the line of bearish for me today, rather than anything else. So I don't mind that. See if anybody else is looking at that. touches the midline there. It plays the midline there. Here as well. It's not terrible, I don't think. Yeah, okay. Someone is. I think it's, you know, I mean, there's a channel there anyway with the break, and it is continuing down, so it looks like it. Yeah, a couple of people are anyway, so that's good enough for me. Dan's got something similar, but he's looking more, I think, out Thomas Wade. Trouble is, we've only really touching twice, and now we've got a possible overshoot. I don't know what I prefer, actually. Okay. I think part of the reason is I'm looking at the MES, which is slightly different. As far as the MES is concerned, I like that. Let's just have a look at the, see if this looks any different. That does work. Yeah. That is actually very similar to what I've got, to be fair. It's certainly looking that way. But bearing in mind, mine's MES, so that looks okay to me. So they're kind of very similar. Yeah. So kind of very similar. I can keep an eye on this. In fact, let me just make this a little bigger. Let's hide that. That looks a bit clearer. So yeah, I can keep an eye on the two. They're very, very similar, to be fair. If I look at that, we're more or less at the bottom. In fact, it almost looks identical, really, doesn't it? The difference is there's slightly more of a push up on the ES. That's the only slight difference. There's a key level at 5206. It might push below and pick up liquidity there. What did you say? 2606 down here somewhere. We got something back there, have we? The 10,000. Suppose on the daily there is a little bit of a bull bar, which means there may be some. At daily, we had that strong push up, kind of a higher low really, but it triggered, and we're having two legs down, so maybe a leg and a leg, maybe liquidity here, I don't know. I don't know. I'm assuming that's what you were looking at, Jan, or something like that. Scroll back to the 11th. I can't go back that far on my chart, I think. I don't have that many days on mine. Seems slow, my chart lately. Slow to load, Ninja Trader is. Still loading. Back to the 11th. Oh, down here. Oh, I see. Yeah. In fact, we've kind of almost pushed down and hit it, haven't we? Yeah. And if you look at the 10,000 tick chart, there could be a second leg down, which would be from here to here, I think. So I suppose it's possible it could go down some more. We got kind of a leg down with a correction. We had that drawn as a leg initially, or I had it drawn as a leg, and then we kind of had a correction, and then down some more. So it could come down some more, or as you say, it could find some support. It has just kind of hit that. Where's the low of the days? It's sort of close to that, isn't it? It's a 1.5 away, or whatever it is. So it's hard to say, really. I mean, it may go down lower. You certainly don't want to be going short here, do you? I don't even think I'd feel about a failed breakout of this either. I'm trying to avoid some of the trades I've been losing. Failed breakouts, I haven't had much success with, or picking tops and bottoms. I used to avoid them, but I started thinking, I need to sort of maybe start playing a part, but I don't seem to have much luck. We had a move up the other day, and we had a little bit of congestion and a drop out, and I took it, triggered me and stopped me out. So I consider that as a failed breakout. But maybe if I'm going to take failed breakouts, it's going to be on a higher low or a lower high, because I just don't seem to have much luck with them. And if they're not working, I'd just as well stay away. Now, I wouldn't necessarily call this a range at the moment. We've had a break and a new low and a slow move up. But on the 2000 tick chart, it does kind of look a little bit congested. So maybe a couple of legs up to the EMA and then down some more. It's hard to say. I'm not a fan of taking those, to be fair. As I say, I don't really have a lot of luck with them. Now, there could be a second, this second leg, which could take us down considerably further. But when you're kind of getting close to these bottoms, it just doesn't feel natural for me to, and sometimes, it might have a small break here and push right down here. But going short this low at the bottom of a channel has never kind of felt natural, although I have seen people take them and they work. But so, I mean, that channel has had a break and a new extreme. Now, you may argue there's already a break, but it did continue down, so I've extended that. And now we've had a break and a new low. So maybe a leg and a leg up to here. But as I say, I'm not a fan of taking those. So that ATR has come right down now. It's around 4.85. Dan's just said he's moved back down to 6 ticks with the current. So if that goes down any lower, I will move over. I'm going to do, I'm just going to switch over onto the sim a minute and just drop a quick sell order in just on a sim.
Order
just
filled.
To see the kind of distance here. So it doesn't look overly, does it? I just like to get an idea on the sim just to see how things look.
Order filled.
Possible triple test here, but you don't want to be taking that right in the middle of the range.
Order submitted. Order cancelled.
So as soon as that ATR gets to about 4, I'll move over. I'll move back. It's 4.85 at the moment that I can see. So you may argue a triple test there. I'm not taking that in the middle of this. It may come down, but I'm not interested in that. Just doesn't feel natural selling there. So close to the bottoms, it may not make a difference, but by the by. I can't see how Mac would pick that. There's nothing left to the bottom, so you can't trade it, in my opinion. Now, we have had a break with a couple of pushes now. You may argue a triple test, but it's not the best looking triple test, is it? Let's face it, but it moved down, so what can you do? Sometimes it doesn't make a difference. I'm not a fan of selling into these lows anyway, but certainly not right at the bottom of that little bit of a... there is a bit of a range. I wasn't so sure really, but on the ES it's clearly congestion, so selling right at the lows, it's not a great thing to do really for me. Down from the wider trend channel. So it may be, there may be a second leg down from here, leg down with a correction. That did look like a channel to me, so however it was something like that with a correction and then down some more, so your channel is different from mine. Well, it possibly, because I'm on the MES at the moment. This, the one on the left, is the ES. Let's pull that down a bit. So that might be why it looks a bit different. So if I'm looking at Thomas Wade's, he's got that. Sorry, he's got the same as me. Now, I'm not sure whether that's the MES. No, it's the ES. So he's got it like that, and a few others have got it from there. So I got kind of mixed feelings about this. There's Dan's there. Oh, he's just adjusted it again, I think. Yeah, he has. So he's got it from here with a break. So yeah, mine is on the MES at the moment, and there's the ES. So they're more or less the same, but kind of slightly different. If you look at the bottoms kind of fall into place. These two fall into place compared to those. The only slight difference is we've got a bigger move up, giving us that little bit of spike and channel. I usually get my trend line from the 1 minute chart. Yeah, see, these are 2000 tick charts, so they are going to look kind of a bit kind of different. So I'm trading Pats, and we tend to use the 2000 tick chart. But I suppose every time frame they're going to look slightly different. In fact, just out of curiosity, let's have a look at the minute. Bearing in mind this is the MES. Yeah, so that's it's kind of similar, isn't it? Yeah, we're kind of all more or less in the same channel there, so we're more or less on the same page. If I leave that there and then move back to the 2000 tick, they're not overly different, are they? Actually, they are a bit. You've kind of got like that, haven't you? Yeah, I mean, you've got to, trade what you trade, haven't you? So I've got that like that. The bottoms kind of fall into place. I think the tops look okay. I got that slightly like that, which gives us that little bit more distance at the bottom, which fits things in a bit better. If you look up here as well, it's not looking too bad there, a couple of places there and there. Two tops. So I got 3 touches there. The midline doesn't look terrible. We got a bounce here, we got a bounce here. Midline, same again there, doesn't look terrible. So, it kind of doesn't fit too bad, does it? I mean, we're at these lows anyway. I'm always nervous about shorting too low. I mean, I was nervous about shorting that. I mean, rightly so. It's into the lows anyway. So, if you're trading max pats, you can't take that. You may argue it's a triple test, but it's clearly congested. On the 2000 tick chart, it's even more congested. It's clearly just sideways. You don't know it's going to do that. My gut feeling was it probably will. But I'm just not comfortable as shorting these lows because obviously, kind of history shows us whenever we get to the lows, we push up. Whenever we get to the lows, we push up. And you know what I mean? So we've had a channel with a break at a new low, 1, 2, 3, maybe 3 little touches, possibly a higher low here. There's going to be some short strap there. Trouble is, for me, it's counter trend trading. The bias is clearly bearish at the moment, so I just can't bring myself to taking longs at the moment. So it's just a matter of sitting tight. Now, depending on how you see this channel's played out. I'd say there's a small micro channel that's played out also. A little channel with a break, 2 pushes up. We've broken the lows by a tick there, so we have got a bullish bar that's triggered there, but there's a bearish bar that's triggered, so this may push up to the EMA, take out that's any shorts that may be there, but it's going sideways again, so I don't know. My gut feeling is, well, I got 2. We're at the lows, but we've got a possible measured move down here, but I'm just sticking out. It's just, it could go up, could go down. Your guess is as good as mine. I wouldn't want to buy there. If I wanted to buy there, I would have to wait for a higher low. So I would say that is pretty vulnerable. Having said that, we're bearish at the moment. I wouldn't want to short there either, too far from the EMA. So there's bulls maybe buying there and bears maybe selling there. So could go up, could come down. Excuse me, just for a second. I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. I'll be 1 minute. Okay, so I will be shocked if that bar there doesn't get stopped out. So there may be some shorts there. See, that looks like two little legs back there. I'd like it to break above there. In fact, I'll go as far as to stick my neck out and say it probably will. But there's two pushes up leg. Okay, so that bullish bar is triggered. I'll be surprised if we don't take out that short here. So there does look like two little legs. I mean, I wouldn't entertain a short at the moment anyway. We're just too close to these lows. We're going a bit sideways there, but I'll be surprised if that doesn't get stopped out. But there is maybe buyers there, maybe buyers there. So this is, I mean, this could come down here, but there's just nothing you can do here, really. Okay, I'm expecting this to have a little quick drop. Okay, that's well, I spoke too soon. I said finally we haven't got any chop. It's moving quite freely now. All of a sudden we got chop there, chop there. So maybe buyers here. We've got a big strong bull bar there, and we got a bear bar there as well. So there's probably shorts in there, thinking this thing may go lower. Equally, maybe people buying this. Apologies if you can hear some noise and some squeaking in the background. My dog's just decided to start flinging a telly around the room. Wet. Hey, where you been? There's nothing you can do, really, is there? In fact, while it's doing this, I'm going to take advantage and just take a quick 2-minute break, 2 to 3 minute break, and make a quick cup of tea. So, a few minutes, I'll be back. I haven't missed anything, have I? Nothing. Okay, that ATR is around about 4.7 now, so I'm going to flip over back to the yes. Let me just remind myself to take it down to 1 contract. Last thing I want to do is trade 5 contracts. So I'm just going to have to disconnect that a second. New setup. So what was I going for? So I've got to reduce my, let's go to, let's get a 4 points, I think. That would be 18. So let me just toggle off that, switch over to a sim.
Order submitted.
Let me just drop 1 sim in just to see what it looks like.
Order filled.
That doesn't look bad size-wise, does it? Yeah, okay. That doesn't
Order
look too
filled.
bad. So 32. Toggle on.
Order submitted.
5 contracts. I don't want that.
Order cancelled. Order submitted.
1 contract. Excellent.
Order cancelled.
18. 16, that's 4 points. So a quick look. Just drop onto a quick sim.
Order filled.
Still relatively large, but that's probably bigger than most signal bars. If that was a signal bar there, that would kind of be there, so I can live with that. Okay.
Order filled.
32. Toggle on. Sell.
Order submitted.
1 contract. Okay.
Order cancelled.
Okay, back onto the minis now. So let's just put that back to, I think that's probably somewhere about right. Hello, Sam. How you doing, mate? I didn't see you there. How you doing? Good on you, bud. Good on you. Yeah, I've just moved back. The ATR's come down a bit. As long as it stays in the 4s, I can live with that. I've just got to wait for a good setup. So I'm going for that's 4.5 points, isn't it? Let's go for 4 points. So let's save that. Okay, so let me just check.
Order submitted.
I think we're good there.
Order cancelled.
I mean, bearing in mind, it was only a couple of months ago I was trading 2 contracts. Crazy, really. Deselect break end of day. Give us a slight variation. So, got Mac's chart now. That's what it is. So, yeah, he's gone from there. So, we're pretty much still in this. So, excuse me a sec. The lower high. That one there, yeah. I think a few people took that trade there. We had a channel with a break at a new high. It's a very small signal bar off the key entry. I tend to not entertain those. I'm not, well, I mean, I think they tend to work. They just make me nervous. I think the lower high is more of an interest to me, really. But it was a small signal bar, I think. Smaller than we got at the moment. So tick above, tick below. It's about 3 1/4. The ATR is about 4 1/2. So as far as risk goes, that was probably about as small as we're going to get at the moment. So tick above, tick below, even 3 points. So based on that, I don't think it was a terrible trade. I think a few took it. Oh, Dan took it. Yeah, I think a few did. He took it. Are you on about that one or that one? First one or second one? I mean, yeah, that's off the key entry point. We go sideways. We have 2 legs up. I tend to wait for the higher low. Yeah, just, I mean, that one for me, it's a little bit too far for me. It's kind of already down at the lows. I don't know how much space is left to the lows. Maybe a few points. I mean, it's pretty bearish at the moment, isn't it? So we're right at that measured leg now. There's a measured leg on the 10,000 tick chart. We got kind of a leg down. So trying to break new low. You took that one. Yeah, it looks okay. It looks okay. It was about as small as bar as available at the moment. I don't think I've seen one that small since here, I don't think so. Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna go long, I'm not a fan of them. To be fair, having said that, depending on how this is looking, we're not getting down the bottom at the moment. So a higher low here, I'm guessing would probably more or less get to the EMA. But the thing's so bearish at the moment. Yeah, I just can't take it in my opinion. So that's kind of where we opened, and we're down. Yeah, we're down about 117 points thereabouts. Yeah, there's nothing else I can really see worth taking. We looked at this. We're kind of down the bottom. Is that a triple test? I didn't like the stem. The lower high wasn't any good either. Nothing there. There hasn't been a great deal. You know about that one there, are you? So there is a higher low here. Some take those. Well, signal bars and NAF anyway, so. ATR is looking much better. We're down to 4.37. We're not far away from the threes. Can't remember the last time it was in the threes. It's been a while. That's where I kind of like it, under 4, really. So roughly argument, you know, one contract, you're risking about $200 there, thereabouts. Another zero. Tell me about it. Well, I've got 7 accounts above $2,600. Well, tell a lie, 2 of them are around $20 to $30 under. They were above. And I got 2 of those $2,800. So if all goes to plan, I should have another $7,000 by the end of the week, or at least that I could put in for. We'll see. I'm just going to play it by ear. I mean, I did have a loss Friday of about, or Thursday, it was about $270, I think, all told. And I had a couple of them into the 3,000. So it's just one of those things. It's been choppy lately. It's been hard going lately. And I think I let my patience get the better of me on Thursday. And I took a trade that I thought would work. It just kind of looked like we had a push up and a pull back. And I went long into the tops, really. Now, if I'd have taken the trade when it sort of started, I would have got me points, but I took it on a limit order and it just came back a bit too far and I ended up getting stung. That's one of them things, isn't it? 4 for 4. Good on you, mate. Yeah, if you're 4 up, I'd be running, I would, not walking away. Can't remember the last time I took 4 trades in a day. Long time ago, I think. Can't remember the last time I took 3 trades in a day. It's got to be a fair few weeks. So we got a leg down, looks like a little correction, looks like another leg on the way. You're up 587. Oh yeah, I'll be doing a runner, I would, mate. That's all right for a day's work, that is. Yeah, who knows? I mean, we got to push down. Looks like a small correction. I'm guessing it's probably going to work down there. There's just no entry. You can't really do anything, can you? Unfortunately, it's just sort of dribbling down the middle, as you say, isn't it? It's, you know, sometimes when it's chopping, we hate those days, but then when we get a big trend like this, half the time there's no real just entry. I mean, with the exception of that, I don't think it was a terrible trade. I'll wait for a lower high, but nothing. But you know, a lot of traders are trend following traders. They follow trends, but trading pats not always easiest. You know, other traders may just, when we get a pull back to the EMA, they might just decide to go short. We obviously wait for a certain signal bar and a certain setup, and often you see these big moves of 100 points or whatever, and there's just no way in. And the time of your patience, I can't remember how many times, you know, going back 2-3 years or a couple of years, say, I saw these, there was just no way in, and one side just decided, enough's enough, I'm impatient, let's just jump in short. It triggers you, stops you out. The market's really, really clever at looking for really weak positions. Now, as a trader, if you've got any experience, you know roughly the area to get in, but we wait for a strong signal there. But if you get in at that area and there isn't a strong signal, a lot of times it'll just trigger you and stop you out. It's really clever at doing that. It's infuriating. So, you know, I've just learned over time, you've just got to sit through it all. And, you know, I still have my impulsive trades and my moments of weakness. You know, I've only been trading really 4.5 years. So in the grand scheme of things, I'm still a baby, really. I'm what I call an intermediate trader. I know enough to make money, but I still have those sort of impulsive trades which catch me out from time to time. Trouble is, you know, there's always going to be an element of emotions in trading, but obviously the more experience you get, the more success you have. That kind of slowly fades into the background. But occasionally, you know, it doesn't, and occasionally something just gives and you decide to have a go. You know, with the best will in the world, you know, the best, you know, you could sit and do affirmations and prepare yourself, but sometimes, you know, it's, do I take it? Do I not take it? Something just gives and you get into something a little bit risky and it turns on you quick. Before you know it, boom, you're out and you're down, and it's frustrating. You know, we all want to wait for perfect setups, but when you're sat here day after day and you get something that doesn't look too bad, that temptation is to get in, and sometimes it works, but sometimes it doesn't. So, you know, if you ask me now, I tend to like to trade when I get one of those trades that are almost perfect. They just jump out at you, you know, channel down like that. Perfect 2 attempts to go low. Beautiful bearish bar. Bullish bar here trapped. Bullish higher low trapped. Beautiful bearish bar tucked tight under there. You know it's going to come down for like trades like that just don't work. Just don't fail. We just don't seem to get a lot of them. You know, a lot of the trades now are that little bit more sort of advanced. And I wouldn't consider myself an advanced trader. As I say, more of an intermediate. So those trades sometimes you get into, you know, when the patience goes or the discipline slacks a little bit, it's very easy to get, you jump in, you know, and then you get a slap on the wrist. The trouble is trading pats, with the exception, obviously today it's a little bit slow, but sometimes it's moving that quick, you know, you get seconds to make a decision. And obviously, you know, the longer you have to make a decision, generally, the better the better decisions you make. It's quite a fast moving market, and you have to make quick decisions. And as a less experienced trader, sometimes experience gets the better of you, or lack of experience, especially when you pass so many questionable trades. Yeah, that's the thing, innit? That works out great. See the side next one. Yeah, it's not easy. We've heard Max say a million times, this is a real skill that takes time. And every time you think you're doing okay, you end up getting a slap on the wrist. You realise how right he is. But what I will say is I notice a difference in my trading if I look back 12 months. I took a lot more trades. I blew a lot more accounts. I got a lot more wrong. And, if there's one thing I can pick off straight away, my patience is better. I always struggle with my patience. I think my patience is probably one of my strongest assets at the moment. I can sit here all day and not take a trade. But my patience let me down on Thursday. I just, it was a bit rangy. We had a quick, strong push up. Something happened in the news. We pushed up, came back. In fact, let's have a look. I don't know if I can see it on here because I took it on the MES. We were kind of chopping. That was the bar there. We had a triple test. We had a really big, strong move. We came back to the EMA. It pushed up and it was hanging around here. And I got back in on a limit order and it came down and got me. But, we kind of pushed up. We'd had 1, 2, 3 attempts to push lower. All of a sudden we had a really strong move up and I got in there for, I don't know, call it a failure. There's shorts trapped. It pushed up. And unfortunately, instead of thinking it's already gone so far, what am I going for? 4 points at the moment. So it clearly did that. It came back on a limit order and I got back in here thinking leg up. We're going to break above all these. And it just came down for a second time, for another time. Took me out and then ended up doing it's infuriating when that happens, but emotions maybe, we've got a big move here, this is the one, and emotions take over, a little bit of lack of experience and lack of maturity trading. I'm thinking leg up, 1, 2, 3, this is the one, and it wasn't to be. And instead of getting in there and when it started to move, instead of leaving it, I took it on a limit order and it stung me, which is frustrating. But, unfortunately, while you're still relatively inexperienced, it's still going to happen from time to time. But I do find those trades happen less. Next time, every time you get stung like that, you tend to remember you're still going to make mistakes a bunch of times before you get it through your head. But, when you lose money as well, when you got money invested, you do remember them. I haven't forgotten about that. So next time we get that move up and that pull back and it's gone without me, something will just, flick a switch in the back of my head and thinking, I've been here before. I'm trying. Oh, so second entry short there. Big trigger above that higher low. Same again. It happened Thursday. Think, oh yeah, big sell-off, let's jump in here. You see that big move down, you think, yeah, it's going to stop that out, so you jump in here and all of a sudden it's putting back on you. So sometimes when you see these big moves, it's something I'm kind of going to implement into my trading. Whenever we see these quick moves and you think, yeah, here we go, big sellers in, I'm going to just stay out of it and let it settle, because it's so easy to get excited by a quick move down and you're thinking, oh yeah, here we go, and it does the complete opposite. So it's just that maturity and experience that comes with time, but at the moment it's not super clear. You may argue we've pushed up to the EMA and then we're down, but it's triggered and all of a sudden it's looking like it may be working back. So you think, technically it's a second entry short, but it's a little bit sideways and it's a little bit unclear. And what else it is as well is we're at the bottom. We come to the top. We're at the bottom. We come to the top. We're not getting to the bottom at the moment. So whether this is going to push down or not, I'm not so sure, because it's a little bit choppy. So it may end up stinging you, that one. So You know, when I see these quick moves now, like I saw the other day when I got stung, and this one as well, I'm not going to let it, you know, get me too excited and too impulsive. And it's very easy to think, oh yeah, here we go. I don't want to miss this. Finally, I've waited for 3 hours and I get a trade, and triggers you, stings you. Yeah, I mean, we got a higher low here, so my guess is it's probably going to break these lows. It has, but you just never know because it's going sideways and we're not getting into this lower part of the trend. You don't know whether it's going to actually push up, clear some of this liquidity. I wouldn't call these strong positions to get in. So you don't know whether it's going to push up, clear some of this liquidity, maybe test these again or have a little failed breakout, or because we're not getting to the bottom, actually finally have a break of this channel. So at the moment, it's just a little bit too congested and safe to trade. I mean, you know, 10 minutes, we may be down here, but I won't know that until 10 minutes. So it's just so hard. So you've just got to be patient there, really. And, you know, I'm guessing it's probably going to break below there, but how much further is it going to go? So the simple answer there, it's just congested. I think it's trying to constantly just it cheesed me off a little bit on Thursday taking that trade, so I did a kind of a new trading plan. Whenever I have a bad day, I just try and get something positive out of it, and I try and put things in place. So I just kind of wrote a bit of a sort of a newer trading plan, what to take. You know, what happens if the ATR is above 5, go on to micros and stuff like that. Areas to avoid during congestion in the middle of ranges, especially into support, which it was. Trading into the upper and lower areas of the current range. Any counter trend trade should also be avoided until a clear break in extreme. So I just went through this just to kind of clarify everything. And I've started doing a little bit of mindfulness and a bit of breathing, and I've also started taking some of those gummies. I know a few people are taking them, those Anaway gummies or whatever they're called. They're made up of half a dozen different mushrooms or something. They're supposed to aid with clearing your mind and focus. You just got to kind of do what you think might work, or have a go at something. So I've started doing 15 minutes of meditation in the evenings and 15 minutes in the mornings, and I'm just trying to I don't know, figure a way of continuing forward and making less mistakes. I mean, time's one thing anyway. Time's always moving forward, so we're always improving our skills. So that kind of takes care of itself. So that kind of happens in the background, really. But I think you've just got to try and do what you can just to try and put extra things in place to help. Just try and solidify what not to do, where to stay out. That's not much you can do here. Do you know, I had a break about half an hour ago, wasn't it? At least when we were here. Nothing's happened, is it? Take an awful lot of EMA snapbacks. I do that more than anything. Makes sense to me. Fast meeting. You know, the longer you sit in front of these charts, the more you notice things, and the more it's bound to play a part in your trading. And I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. You know, the more you know, these strategies that Max got or that came from Al Brooks, you know, they're not, you know, they weren't found in a box 3,000 years ago, etched on templates. That, you know, they came purely from people sitting in front of the charts and knowing how price reacts and when it reacts and for what reason. So the more you sit here, the more you'll kind of find your own setups and maybe add things to them, you know, with time. You know, these kind of double width bar trays that I kind of find sometimes, you know, we start to move down, we get a bullish bar. If you just short it, 2 point risk, 2 point profit. They often work. Same again there, little bullish one. Not that I would take that one, but they do work pretty well. Those slightly wider channels, a little bullish bar pull back, and then you go short there. There's one there, maybe there. So we are kind of working in this top tier, if you like. So a little breakout. Maybe longs trapped. Yeah. You know, they are pullback traders. We move down, we get a bit of a pullback. They go short. We move down, we get a pullback. They go short. There's so many different ways to trade these markets, isn't there, for whatever reasons. You know, we're moving down, we get a pullback, you go short. We move down, we get a pullback, you go short here somewhere, stop up here. There's so many different ways you could. You know, for me, I think it's looking for rejection in the same direction we've been moving at the EMA. This is kind of something new that I'm paying more attention to, where we have a channel with a break, looking for a lower high, riding it back. I've never really done those before, but I am paying attention to those a little bit more. But, you know, we've got a channel with a break, and it is 2 legs up. Now, you're relying on that continuing down. Now, there's always that possibility it could trigger and push up a little bit. So, you know, the fact that it is 2 legs doesn't necessarily mean it's going to come down. A lower high, I think, is better. At least that way you're possibly trapping a little bull bar. Pullback. Nutty is a pullback guy. He doesn't do anything else. No, he doesn't, does he? He seems to have some success with it, doesn't he? You know, there's a British guy I watch from time to time who's been trading for over 20 years. And he says the same thing. I've heard it, you know, a million times. There's not such thing as a bad strategy. They all kind of work now. I mean, if you pull the strategy out your hat in 2 minutes, you know, it might not work. But, I mean, the simple thing is, in a downtrend, if you're trading pullbacks for 1-to-1, just the fact that the thing's moving down and you're headed in the right direction, we've all heard the saying, the trend's your friend. You're going to win more than you lose, aren't you? You know, in a downtrend, going short at key entry points, you're definitely going to win more. It's not a rocket science, you know, strategy. It doesn't require, you know, any more than maybe an EMA. Every time we come back to the EMA, if you just put a stop up here and went for 1-to-1, it worked there, it worked there, it maybe a little bit there, worked there, you know, whether you consider that. I'd probably say when we get a little bit of rejection off it, but so most strategies work. It's just keeping that discipline when things tend to go wrong, and that's tend to what affects traders more than everything. Just the one thing we already suffer from: emotions, unfortunately. Rob Hoffman is a pullback continuant. Rob Hoffman. Rob Hoffman. I always like to look at new traders when people mention it. I'll just take a photo of that. Rob Hoffman. Yeah, it's not. It's kind of a very simple strategy, isn't it? Really, kind of find your direction. I mean, look at, you know, picking that one for instance. We come back to the EMA, we get a bearish bar. If you went short there, it worked. Well, back to the EMA. If you went short there, it worked. You know, pull back to the EMA. If you went short there, it worked. You know, so there's no reason why you can't have a go at this stuff. Maybe switch over to 1 micro later in the evenings or later in the day. 1 account, 1 micro. Maybe even an evaluation on a micro, just for the pure fun of doing it, just to see if they work. Another guy I watch a little bit is Nico Wrench from Wrench Capital. I've seen him get battered in the markets, but it doesn't seem to affect his emotions. He can walk away and come back. Now that's the magic pill. That is, if you can take losses and they don't affect you, man, you made. It's one of the toughest things to do. I will say, with experience and, long term, if you've been making money every month for 2 or 3 years, you can clearly trade. There's no argument about it. So I'm guessing, losses will affect you a little bit less. I'm kind of up. I'm kind of up the ladder a few runs now. So I am making money. So I've kind of gone from making my first bit of money to having a couple of months of losses, to making a little bit more and then blowing a bunch of losses, to making money from 2 or 3 accounts and then blowing a bit, to making money for 5 or 6 accounts. So it's kind of 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So I am making more money now. My wins and my profit making are stretching a little bit longer. It doesn't happen overnight, but I'm actually on the way, what I consider on the way up at the moment. But I'm still tripping from time to time and stumbling. But trading doesn't. I've been trading for 4.5 years, and I'm getting to that level now where I'm starting to be profitable. I still have my problems with emotions and that. I don't think they go away just yet. But I'm finally now. I've been on the runway, stopping and starting. I'm finally now off the ground. But you have to. It's very easy to start making money and think you can take your foot off the pedal. You've still got to keep it on. You've still got to keep that discipline. You could be the wealthiest trader in the world. You could make more money than any other trader. It doesn't mean the market's going to bend over and give you easier setups. You've still got to keep your finger on the pulse. And I think, I had 3 good months, progressively kind of better. And then maybe I relaxed. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what happened, but, it's all part of the journey. And, every trader I know, really, who've been doing it 4, 5, 6, 7 years is making money. They still have their ups and downs. I know Nutt has been trading a few years. He blows a lot of accounts and he gets through a lot of accounts, but he is making money. Same with Alpine. He's going for a rough patch, Alpine, but, he's making money. Lucas, sorry, Max Manual, I think there was strategy exactly like that pullback. In fact, wait 1 minute. I saw something in Max strategy that let me a sec. I dug this out over the weekend. I had it ring binded about 3 years ago. And he's can't remember what it was now. It's probably going to be it. But he mentioned about trading charts. I'm not going to remember where it is now. But he mentioned about trading the 10,000 volume chart or something else. I was quite surprised. But I've just decided, I literally had to clean the dust off it. It's thick with dust. I am going to go through this again. I think it's always good to go over the basics. Even professional tennis players still keep going over the basics. They still have coaches and all sorts of people. Pull back here, made trend, go with the stop. Yeah, there's so many different ways to trade, Lucas, isn't there? Slight variations of max. Even if you, in a downtrend, maybe you go short as soon as price touches it. You know what I mean? That one there, well, that one wouldn't work. But let's say on the, the underside of it, let's say, that touched it if you went short there. we touched it there, pull back, touched it there. If you went short there, you know, there's all sorts of. In fact, thinking about it, when I first learnt to trade currency, I think we had 3 EMAs. I can't remember what time frame, whether it was a 15 minutes or the hourly. We had 3 EMAs. I think it was the 8, 13 and 21. And every time it broke the 8, went into between the 21 and the 13, but didn't close, we would take a short. We would count back 5 bars, put our stop there, and it was something like that. But we were trend followers. So we would start the day with a piece of software that kind of looks at the strength and weakness of the different currencies. And we would find a currency that was strong and a currency that was weak. And then basically you've more or less got a trend. And then we would do that type of thing. As soon as it got in between 2 of the EMAs but didn't close there, we would kind of take a short. But there's so many different ways of trading these, isn't there? This is really slow today, isn't it? What time are we now? 4:30 in the UK. So there's 3 o'clock. So we've done that in an hour and a half. So the trouble is, it's very easy to see this at the end of the day and think, wow, look at all that big move down. I couldn't find an entry. But the one time your patience goes, you just decide to jump in, it ends up having a break. It's uncanny how it works. If you're Warren Buffett, you don't get setups. You are the setups. Yeah, I suppose a lot for the institutions. I suppose things are a bit easier for them, aren't they? If you can afford to literally move the markets. So yeah, I'm just trying to make a few changes. Trying to do a bit of a meditation. I don't know whether it'll work, but I'm willing to give it a go. I'm going to go back over the manual again. I've just revisited my trading plan. Specifically, I know what to do. I just need to re-go over what not to do. Pinch whiskies. That's another thing I'm stopping doing as well. I've noticed I'm drinking a bit more on the stream. I don't think that I don't know whether it helps, whether it doesn't help or not. I don't know. I don't have many. Sometimes I'll have a couple, but the trouble is, even a couple sometimes, could that affect your judgment? Maybe. I think focus on the main thing, and do think you'll handicap yourself by trading while streaming and reading. See, most of the time I am reading bits, but it's in areas where I'm not trading. Once it starts to get to these areas, I tend to start to get quiet. See, I noticed. Bear me a second. Sorry about that. I did suggest to Dan about live streaming, and he said he likes to focus, but he's constantly chatting on here, so he's looking and reading and chatting. It doesn't seem to affect him. What I will say is I've found I do less stupid things when I'm streaming, because when people are watching you, I mean, I haven't, I've been streaming over 2 years now, but I found a lot of the time I would take more stupid trades outside the stream than when I was streaming. But to be honest with you, I've always been a talker. I've always talked to myself. If I'm thinking about things, I just kind of, see it as thinking out aloud. Sometimes if I hear myself say it, it tends to gets in my head. So I think it works for me. I'm still focusing on what I'm doing. Damn, prices got really slow, methodical. Yeah, they have. There's not really much you can do here. Can't see how you could take a short there, even though we've touched the EMA and dropped, but you don't know it's going to continue down, do you? We couldn't seem to. We had a lot of this, and then we couldn't get to the bottom, so you never know when it's going to decide to have a break. It's very easy after the fact to see these big moves. Same here, we seem to go a bit sideways there. We had a few bounces, so your natural thought process is we can't get to the bottoms now. Is this going to break? And then it continues on, but we don't know that. And same here, a little bit sideways, and eventually it goes down, but you don't know that. And if you do lose your patience and decide to get in short, half the time it'll trigger you and decide to have a break. That's something I used to do all the time. I jumped in because of patience and it decided to have a break. So what I'd move me stop, move me stop, move me stop. Do you know what happened? It went up, stopped you out, and then continued on down. And market's very, very clever at making people miserable, put it that way. So you've kind of got to outsmart it. And I don't mean that in a clever way. I think when it's doing all this choppy shit, just stay out of it. That's all you can. Well, maybe not outsmart it, maybe just not humour it and think it's going down. Let's jump in on a slightly different down channel with a break. So I skipped it. All setups after a second entry short a while ago. But now we drew. Yeah, it's another thing as well. Your channel's always kind of updating and changing. At the moment, we've more or less been pushing down in there for a while, but things are always kind of moving forward, and you're adjusting and changing and so on and so forth. I just need to keep my patience and just wait for something obvious, and beyond that, just leave it at that. Bear me a sec. I think that's the best thing going for anybody, that patience. Okay, bear me just a few minutes. We've just got a visitor. Just going to quickly say hello, and I'll be about 3 to 5 minutes. Sorry about that. It's just got some relatives just turned up for pick up the kids' Easter eggs, so missed anything anyway. Excuse me, just 1 second. I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. I'll be 1 minute. Okay, so this is a proper trending day, isn't it? We've been in literally this. Relatives by appointment only, yeah. Just some kids come round just for their Easter eggs. Just have a quick look on that daily where prices may go. I like Thomas Way. Take that, prices are always continuing somewhere. Structure is explained. Yeah, it's a good guy, Thomas Wade is. So let's just have a look at this. So we've come back up to the EMA. We've had a little bit of a pullback. We've pushed up back to the EMA again. A little bit of sideways there, and now we've had a drop. A little bit of sideways and a drop again. So I suppose you'd have to think, is this coming down to either continuing on down, or are we just picking off these areas of liquidity? Or what? I don't know. It's not super clear, is it? It's just hard to say, really, isn't it? But this, I mean, we opened here, didn't we? And this is pretty bearish. So, mind you, if we get down here to these lows, we'll be... I mean, we recovered a fair chunk of that, didn't we? I mean, we came down, we recovered about 40% of that move, I'd say. And I thought, to be honest with you, this was probably then going to slowly work back up, but who knows? Is this continuing down lower, or is it just testing these levels? Who knows? Trouble is, as frustrating as this thing is, just keep coming down and down and down, that is, the second you decide to get in without a setup, it's uncanny how it works. The second you decide to get in and your patience goes, the market just seems to have an uncanny way. It's almost like you're being watched. And if you think, oh, I'm stuck here, let's just go short, it seems to trigger you and then decide to push up. I can't tell you how many times I did that in the past, just because of lack of patience. If you do nothing, it just continues down, but unfortunately. This is where Jan's little alarm is useful. I can put that there, and that will give us an audible... In fact, I think, doesn't it? It does a bunch of stuff. It gives us... I think you could even get it to email you, I think, or something like that. But alarm... Or did I see that somewhere else? So you can get it to give you a visual alarm. So if you're not taking a... Hey, Paul, how you doing? No, not for me, buddy. But yeah, you can use this kind of as a visual alarm. So if it gets back to this area, you can decide to jump in. So it's quite useful, that. See what I mean about this? I said there, as soon as you lose your patience and decide to jump in here, what happens? It goes down by 3 points and then starts to push up. You can't win. You're damned if you do. So if you decided to get in there and think this thing's coming down, coming down, coming down, as soon as I mentioned it, look what happened. Don't like alarms because I want to follow the price action. Yeah, I mean that's just an example. I mean, if you had a 15-minute chart or something like that, that's not necessarily for this. You know, if you had a 15-minute charts and you wanted to trade up here or something, or you know, a lot of traders may put orders in here and say if it comes back to here, I'll go short. So it's just a little feature that he's just added to this toolbar up here. No. That there, you took that, did you? Yeah, it's kind of so bearish. It triggers it and then starts to come down, takes it out. Probably end up going up now. Stopped out. Yeah, the trouble is if you look at any bull bar here, they trigger and then come down. Trigger, come down. That one triggered there, came down. And usually when it does, it's just a miniature pullback, really, isn't it? This one, we had a bit of a pullback and then down again. We had a bit of a pullback, triggered above it and then down again. Same there, bit of a pullback, triggered above it and down again. Same again, a little bit of a pullback. Trouble is now it's going a bit sideways. So I've got to say, it's definitely easier scalping smaller amounts here. I mean, at the moment, I think I'm going for 4 points. Mind you, I might have to drop it. That 80R is the lowest it's been. So I'm going to reduce this now, go back to my 3 points. I think that's better. Let me just check that still works. I think it does.
Order submitted.
One contract. Yeah.
Order cancelled.
Hold on a second. Let's come over to custom. It's new setup, isn't it? Let me just... New setup, yeah. Let's adjust this. So 12 ticks. Yeah, the ATR's 4 now, so I'm back to my normal 3 points. I don't want to push me luck. I'd rather get in and out when it's like this.
Order submitted. Order cancelled.
Okay. You can't really trade that. It's just too far from anything. I'm guessing it's probably going to break below there, but this, you just can't take that really. It's a little bit of congestion there. It may work, but it may push up. It's back to that EMA. Back to the, yeah, the ATR's now back to 4 now, see? That's the lowest it's been now for a while, so I've kind of redone my strategy. More the risk management. I put on it the ATR now, use that as guidance. If the ATR's 5 or over, switch on to micros. If it's below 5, go back to minis. But we're back to 4 basically, so that's the lowest it's been. I can't remember the last time it's been 4. It's been weeks, I think, isn't it? It's got to have been a few weeks, couple of 3 weeks. I'm assuming a lot of these tariffs are going ahead. It's kind of less publicised at the moment. I've not heard too much about it obviously at the moment. It's about the Pope, isn't it? Losing the Pope. But there's not been a huge amount in the press as much as there was initially when, you know, a lot of these tariffs were kind of more sort of headline news. So things have settled. I mean, it's definitely quieting down. There's no argument there. So bullish bar there. It's probably going to get triggered out. You just can't take that, in my opinion. There's just nothing there. Same with that one. I wouldn't take that either. It's going sideways. It could trigger and bounce up. Nice channel though, so if we can get a break here, a couple of legs up, we may get something. Micro, yeah, they do, bud. They do. And the trouble is, if you get into a trade and you add to it, it doesn't half shoot the fees up, doesn't it? Trouble is, when we was having an ATR of 7, 8, 9, 10, it's just one of those things. I know Max says, don't worry about the size of the signal bar, but if you're, you know, an experienced trader who've been doing it and make money, that may be okay. But I can't do it, especially if he's only, you know, still going for a 1 point scalp. If you're risking 9 points to make 1 point, I can't get my head around that. Now, if you've been trading as long as Mac and you probably haven't had a loss for 6 months, then it's no biggie really. I believe Dan hasn't had a loss since October. So, you know, under those circumstances, I get why people are saying they don't worry about the size of the signal bar. If they pretty much know they're going to win a trade, then, you know, I get it. I get it why Dan stayed on the ES. But, you know, for me personally, I can't do it. I had to adjust something, unfortunately. It's the only way, really. But yeah, one contract, what is it, $4 in and out? I think it's almost double the price, isn't it? If you took 10 micros, isn't it something like $10 or something? It's more than double the price. If Dan takes a lot, he's going to update everyone. Takes a loss. It just goes to show how accurate. Now, I'm yet to see a trade that Dan marked that didn't go for 2 points, even though he goes for 6 ticks. I get why he goes for 6 ticks. You know, if it works and he's making money and a considerable amount of money, don't mess around. I get it. For me personally, I think if for a new trader now said to me, what would I go for? I'd say the starting point is 2 points. Or maybe use the ATR as guidance. But the ATR is around 4 at the moment. So for me, 2 points is the order of the day. But, you know, I mean, I go for 3 at the moment. Which I kind of like 1-to-1 I do, and you know, although it's a little bit high at the moment, it's the first time we've touched into the 3s for a long while now. But if you take good setups, good quality setups, they go for way more than that anyway. Do you know, if Dan decided to stream or just decided to allow his chart and charge people $100, $200 a month, he'd make an absolute fortune. Trouble is, although it's nice to have, you know, someone else's confirmation, there's no real future in copying someone else's trades. You have to just learn yourself. I'd just like to, you know, be a fly on the wall when he starts to open a trade and thinks if this finishes short, if this finishes bearish or the signal bar's right, I'm getting in for 6 ticks. But yeah, I think, isn't it something like $1.25 per micro? If you have 10 micros, that's more or less the equivalent of a contract. You're paying about $12 or something like that. $11 or $12 as opposed to $4 on the... now, I suppose it's negligible to a degree. So I'm looking for a second leg up here. This is a reasonable sized channel, this. It's down 41 points, so I'd like a little bit more than just that. I'd like to see 2 legs up. Can't take that. We've got a little triple top here. $3.9 now, that ATR, it's definitely dropping. As tempting as it is to take that, I don't see how you can, really. But signal bar's no good anyway. Like to see a pullback with another leg up. Missed the, yes, I did. Yeah, I mean, the ATR's down to 3.9 and well, 3.84 now. It's getting smaller by the minute. So that's more manageable now. So if you take a trade, one contract off the risk, you're risking about 175, 180. That's not too bad. I don't mind risking 200-ish to make 150. I mean, I traded for, I mean, I've been streaming now for two years and 3-4 months. It's only about the last 2 months I've been trading one contract. I always had two contracts, always. So we got a nice channel down here with a break. So one leg up with a break. I mean, it's tempting, but there's 4 bars stacked side by side here. Now, it's that bearish, it probably will work. Yeah, Dan's saying it's tempting. But probably skip it. I don't see how you can, really. There's 4 bars stacked side by side now. It's very bearish. It probably worked, but we got a leg up with side was off and we'll get a second leg up. Signal bar's left now anyway, so. So there's a higher low there, so. That's triggered, so let's see what happens here. I'd like to see 2 legs though. Looking at the 10,000 tick chart, if we can get a second leg up, that would take us up to here. To the, depending on how you've got this, of course. Another leg, which would more or less get us close to that EMA. Sorry, the trend channel. It's so tempting. There's a bull bar there, probably trapped. It's so tempting, but we've got a leg up with a bit of sideways. If we get a second leg up, that would take us a bit higher. So not a huge risk. But I would prefer a second leg. I certainly think that's a vulnerable, but not vulnerable enough for me to want to get into it. The bar's no good anyway, so, well, as it stands. So let's see if it triggers and pushes up. It's a little bit congested here, so yeah, if you'd have taken that, straight away you'd be panicking now. It's a little channel with a break and a new extreme, trapping some longs. It may work, it may hold, but I'm now it's triggered and pushing up. I doubt it. You never know. I wouldn't want to be in a short trade there at the moment. It may work, but I'm not so sure now. It has triggered. It's moving already. Bound to get stopped out. There we go. Just going to put that back to where it was. So there is a channel break, 2 pushes to a new high. There's a bearish bar on the other 2000 tick chart. Trouble is, it is a bit congested here. So it is, we've pushed up and pushed down, but it's just a bit congested. There's a leg up. You don't know whether we're going to push up a little bit higher. So a lower high from here would be a better option, but that's triggered and all of a sudden it's moving higher. So that double track got burned quickly. Yeah. It's tempting, isn't it? It's very tempting. I absolutely get why you go short there. I absolutely do. The thing's that bearish. We've got a channel with a break and a new extreme. There's a higher low there. Triggers comes down. It's very tempting. I think the only reason I left it is, well, I say the reason is probably a couple. It's a little bit congested and we've got a leg up. So I expect another leg up. So I'm just a bit cautious. You may call it paranoid at the moment, but I had that loss on Thursday, which stung me a little bit, so I'm just kind of super cautious at the moment. Now we got a leg and a leg. But yeah, I get why you'd have taken that, and it is frustrating as well when it triggers you by a tick and turns. It's infuriating. But I'm just trying to wait for a trade that literally jumps. You know those trades that we see it, can't believe it's there, and then every man and his dog trades it, and then the chat goes wild and everyone takes it. I took it, got 6 points, got 8 points. You know, the ones that are that obvious. We don't see a lot of them now. You know, an absolutely perfect second. I can't remember the last time I saw what I would consider an absolutely perfect setup. You know what I mean? By the bodies. The channel flatter don't seem, yeah, this market is infuriating. It tends to just know how to piss you off. So it looks to me, I mean, there could be a bigger channel there, or it could be like a spike in a channel. I don't know. Could be kind of a spike in a channel, possible. Depends what happens here, but we certainly got a little channel there with a break and a new high. There's probably going to be some support up here, maybe some liquidity up here, so it'd be interesting to see what it does here. So on that 10,000 tick chart, we're actually at the top of the channel here. You've just got to be so patient and just wait for that right moment. It's very easy just to get a little bit too over keen and just jump in, and all of a sudden those trades that go against you, like you say that one there, almost immediately. In fact, I considered doing that a while ago. I would have said in the first maybe 1 to 3 seconds, I think the chance of you knowing whether you've got stuck is pretty good. So I wonder actually if that triggers and starts to move out, whether you get out there and save yourself 3 or 4 ticks, or whether you just leave it. I'd say if a price starts to go against me, I think I'd get it right 8 times out of 10 if I got out of a trade. So it's something I may consider doing. You know, I have heard a few experienced traders say, experienced traders, they get out of a trade that's going nowhere and try and milk a trade that's in their favour for as much as they possibly can, you know. But when that trigger starts moving up, if you know, you may think, look, it's just get out of this, and you may save yourself half the risk. But then on the rare occasion it will come up and maybe make a new high. But if it starts to come up like that, I'd say 8 times out of 10 it's going to stop you out. So it may be worth just getting out of them. Something I may look back on my trades that's happened to me and just see how many of them eventually went on to win. I don't think there's many. So I think if you've got trapped, I think you pretty much know it quickly. Let's just have a little look at this, zoom out a bit. So it does look like a little spike in a channel. Oh, actually, maybe it doesn't. It doesn't here, it just looks like a leg, a little bit of sideways and a leg. It's just a leg and a leg. If we can push below that EMA and give us a lower high, it may not be a bad option. You certainly, I'm just looking for areas of liquidity. There's certainly going to be some there. If you go from the doji at the very bottom of the bodies, it fits perfectly. Are you on about putting that in a hole? You on about on this chart, are you? Obviously not, are you? I can't see a doji. Very bottom though, the bodies fit perfectly. You're about down from here somewhere. Oh, that one there. Yeah, maybe. I just don't like this big space here. See, on my other chart, it looks more like a little break with some sideways and a new high. It'd be interesting to see what happens here. Just looking for areas of liquidity where I think there may be stops there and there, I'd say. So a lower high here might not be a bad option. We're not going to get one though. So liquidity there and there, I'd say. Just no setup, unfortunately. We've got a channel with a break a new high. I think it's safe to say there's 2 legs up. And then we get 2 bearish bars, a little bit of a pullback and a second bearish bar. That one's gone. That one will be next. And then where do we go from there? Channel break. New high. Trouble is when it starts to go like this. I think a lot of my losses lately are in congestion. So when it is like this, now you may think, okay, channel break new high. Let's look for a short position here, but there may be some support there. So it may push up. It may turn into a little bit of sideways. So now, if you are scalping a point, you may get away with a lot of this stuff. I'd say a lot of the trades I took, if I'd have been scalping for a point, I may have been a little bit more luckier, but channel break. One attempt to push higher, second attempt to push higher. Still a bit dangerous here, really. I mean, as you said, Lucas, you've got a possible channel there, which means you may have a channel with a break. We may get another channel, so we may get a break. It's hard to say. See, I'm looking for longs that may be trapped. There's a big, strong bull bar there, so is that vulnerable? I'd say so, yeah. That's vulnerable as well. Trouble is, it's just clearly congested here, so it might not work out the way you think. My gut feeling, if it closed bearish, it'll probably come down there, but it's not clear enough for me to want to take a trade. It's very tempting. The trouble is, if it starts to go sideways, it could trigger you, break below here, and then backtrack quickly. 22 ticks. It's a bit dangerous here. It may trigger you and go back. I don't think it will, but it may do. It's definitely choppy, so it's so easy to just get stung. It's just not clear enough, really. Setup you expecting now? Now, there's bound to be buyers there, I would have thought. Certainly there. So if it gets below there and there, trouble is, how much further is it going to go? It could break. If it is starting to go a little bit sideways, it could break, trigger these and turn. So the simple answer is there's too many variables at the moment. Yeah, someone said, I'll try this. You know, look, someone on there, on Thomas Wade's, I'll try this lower high on a limit order. Look, we got in on a limit order. So if you got in on a limit order, it's coming back. Where's this going? You'd have to say it's going to stop that out, wouldn't you? You'd have to. That's why it's just too dangerous to take there. I mean, it's a big bearish bar. We kind of got a leg down. We're trapping longs there, but look, I'll be shocked if it doesn't break above there. So Thomas Wade's got that as a channel now. So now we're doing this and going sideways. I'd say that's more of a channel now. I had it as kind of a short term with a break and a new high, but now we seem to be going sideways. I think there's probably a little bit more in play. So yeah, you can't take that really. It's too choppy, and it triggered you, pushed up. It fair enough. You're okay at the moment, but now it's looking more sideways, which means it gets very trappy. If that is a channel with a break, it's more likely going to make a new extreme, which means that's vulnerable. You're still stuck in that trade, maybe. Another tricky day again today. So it's bound to be some stops there, bound to be some there. Little micro with a new high bearish bar. Another one there. I'm just looking. I'm just looking at the YouTube studio, and I'm just looking at this, thinking we haven't made a new high. This is just the amount of current viewers. Just go to show the mind works. I'm looking at this, thinking, here we go. We got a high low now. This is pushing up. It's bound to break here. This is just the amount of viewers. I'm finally losing my mind here. Shut it down 4 for 4. Yeah. That looks nasty. Yeah. So there's that gone. And that'll be next, I think. So leg and a leg. So channel, 2 legs back. It still may push a bit higher. It's hard to say, but I think it'll leak out some of this. So there may be some liquidity there. Certainly a bit there. That's gone now. But it looks like a little bit down, a little bit sideways, and a little bit down. So I'd expect a break below here, or it may push up. Now it's taken out maybe a couple of longs. It may push up and clear some shorts up, but it's starting to look like a leg with a couple of attempts to go lower and then maybe a break. I don't know whether it's going to push up higher. I'd certainly like to see it pick off this liquidity. So that's the last bit I can see where there's any type of strong bull bar that may incur some buyers. So there may be some stops there. So that's taken anything like that. So it may be a leg and a leg. We may push up now a bit higher, or it may continue down. It's just hard to read today. It's can't take anything here. But if that is a leg with a break, it could be like a bounce and then a second leg up. But just can't trade this stuff really. The overall is bearish. You wouldn't want to go long there, even though it kind of looks like 2 legs back. It's just too choppy. leg up, 2 legs back. Are we going to push up to the tops? I'd say probably I just can't take a long because, I mean, at the moment, the overall is bearish. Took that triple test. Yeah, I mean, it may work. It may push up and clear some of this out. It's kind of looking like a channel now, maybe. I don't know. It's just, I can't go long because the overall is bearish at the moment. It's a bit of a stem as well. I mean, it's choppy here, so you've got to say shorts like that, which you may consider a lower high, have got to be vulnerable. They just haven't come down worth a damn taking a profit. So you'd have to think we're going to pop across here and clear some of this out. Maybe that as well. So that would give us the old leg up, 2 legs back, and a push up for a new high, and possibly a break. If it clears this, then you expect it to sort of break anyway, don't you? But we're above there now anyway, so that's gone. The only other option we've got is we pull down, 1 attempt to go higher, 2nd attempt, 3rd attempt, and this drops, but I'm not seeing that at the moment. This is looking like a leg up with 2 legs back and a leg up again. I just didn't want to go long right here, right in the middle of this in an overall downtrend. Funny, looking at this 1,000 tick chart, this is looking like 2 legs. So we got a leg and a leg. Be interesting. Leg and a leg. So looking at this chart, I've got this drawn slightly different, or have I? Or is that just me? Could that go a bit higher? Maybe. It's possible. A leg and a leg. You've got to be careful though if you're adjusting it to try and make it fit. No, I think it's probably safe to say it's had a small break now. It may be negligible. And if all of a sudden the thing comes down bearish, which I'll be surprised. It's very tempting. Channel break, 2 pushes to a new high. Trouble is, if that's a break, these markets don't just have a break like that and come straight down. It's too big a downtrend for that. Now, whether it's a break or not, I don't know. Whether you consider it as a break. I mean, you could micro adjust this and get it to fit. I mean, that type of thing, I normally like taking. Channel break, new high, that almost looks like 2 legs, but it's just something about this that I'm just not interested in. It's very tempting. I think a lower high below the EMA would be the safer option. I'll be surprised if it doesn't work, to be fair, but I don't really want to get in and take that. If we do have another leg, it could take us a bit higher. Yeah, so straight away, if that was a big bearish bar enough to take that short, it wouldn't have done that. I bet there'll be shorts trapped in there. Channel up, 2 legs back, 2 pushes to a new high. You almost took the triple test. Such a small break for such a big channel down. Rarely has a small break like that and pushes straight down. If it does, usually it's because the channel's slightly larger. But we have had 2 legs there, so you never know. Might be, we may have this channel down in a small correction, so it just could come off maybe in a different, sometimes it'll do this. It may just come off in a sort of different, different sort of angled channel down. I can't see anything that may even work there. It's a quick glance at this 10,000 tick chart. We've got a leg and a leg. Be interested to see what happens if he gets that EMA. If that's like that, a leg and a leg. Interesting to see how it reacts here. Trouble is, we've cleared out any real liquidity there. Here. Yeah, I'm expecting this to come back a bit. Channel, break, 2 attempts to push lower, 2 legs up to a new high. That one there, yeah. I mean, I looked at it. You're quite likely trapping these, but you just never know. You don't know because there's liquidity around here, so you just never know how far it's going to go. It's too far from the EMA, me personally. Not only that, we've got a channel up with a break. We've already made a new extreme. You never know. On the odd occasion, this is the type of thing, sometimes it'll trigger this, touch that line, and then come down, and then you've got a lower high there, so it's too far to take, really. See, I have this little voice in my head. I was going through that that manual again of Max, and he specifically talks a lot about counter trend trading. Now, right from the very open, we're moving down. Now, at some point, we're going to have a break, but really, you've got to wait for a break and then find an entry in to test the lows. So I just can't bring myself to counter trend trade unless, these trends are constantly changing. But at the moment, this thing is fitted within this area, more or less from, that was around about 3 o'clock in the morning UK time. So literally all day it stayed within that line. Now we're at the bottom of the channel here. We're at the bottom of the channel. We couldn't quite get to the bottom here, which tells me there's a chance we're going to have a break. And we have done so. You know, usually my experience is the bigger this channel down, the more we go, the more of the scenic route we take before we rarely just have a break like that. That's why I never got into a short. We rarely have a break that small and then just work straight down. It just doesn't happen. And if it does happen, it's usually because there's a bigger channel in play. So at the moment, I'm just not sure. I mean, depending how you draw this, if you take this trend line up to here, you may say we've had a break and a new low, in which case this may be reversing. Doesn't look like a reversal. There's no reversal pattern to me. It's not moving up strong enough. For me, this is still going to come down and make a new low at some point. It just may have two legs up and just decide to mess around in that kind of area before it eventually moves around. Just looking for areas where it may come up to. I suppose that is one. Maybe here. I don't know whether that's a bit too far. It depends. But my gut feeling is it's going to spend some time in here before it comes down. Now, if we've got an absolutely lovely correction that may be, then it may not necessarily head for the lows and retest this. It may be a case we've got in a new channel, something slightly different, less steep or whatever. So it's hard to say, but, my gut feeling is I know there's liquidity up here, so maybe it'll push a bit higher to clear these, or maybe we'll have, I've got these of two separate legs at the moment, but there's always a possibility we have two legs up, we have two legs back, and we have more two legs up, and then it works from there. But I wouldn't be shocked if we had something like that. Let's get that path. I wouldn't be surprised if we had something like that, and then that up here before it eventually starts to kind of work down. Why can I not get off this? It's moved. So who knows? Who knows? You never quite knows. These markets sometimes surprise me. They catch me off guard. But we have got two legs. That second leg is a little bit bigger, but I've just put that there just out. I'm certainly not thinking about going short here. I don't think this is ready to start moving straight down unless it does it in a slightly different channel. So there's not much you can do here really, but I'll just sit and wait and see how it plays out. But it does look like a correction, so you never know. We could slowly start to work down in a different channel. Who knows? Looking at the 10,000 tick chart's interesting, because we've got two legs up. We've got close to the EMA, and that is starting to look bearish. So you never know. You never know. But at the moment, it's not clear to me. It could come down, but it could go up. It's a toss of a coin for me. But my gut feeling is, with such a big move down, I'll be amazed if it just does this and comes straight down. Excuse me just a sec. I'm just going to have a quick bathroom break. What time of day is it? Okay, so maybe about another 20 minutes for me, I think. I'm guessing here because there's probably support there, so leg and a leg up, maybe a leg and a leg down, test this area, and then maybe push up some more. I mean, it may come down, sometimes it does. If it's a nice enough correction, it may come down. But my guess is if it does that, there's probably some other channel there. So whether we end up doing something like that, I wouldn't be shocked. Touch, 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 maybe. That's a way down without having a bigger break for me. But I certainly wouldn't trade it based on looking at that. Took that second entry short. That one there, yeah, a lower high may interest me. The only thing is at the moment, it is 2 legs, so I think it's likely you'd expect to get back to that EMA. I've got multiple things going around my head at the moment. 10 ticks, yeah, comfortably made that. I'll be surprised if it doesn't come down and test this line here. So there's probably liquidity there, I dare say. If this thing is going to come down, it's looking for areas like that to give it some momentum. So I'll be surprised if this doesn't come down below there. I mean, if you wanted to buy here, you'd be buying here, maybe here. You wouldn't be buying here, would you? You'd be waiting for it to get back to that EMA. So when it goes sideways or you get a lower high, we haven't there, but I think there's a fair chance when it starts to do that, this thing comes down. For me, it'd be too early to get in short down here on a lower high or a fairly, just in case we decide to have that second leg. I won't be surprised. I expect this area to get tested down here and then maybe a second leg. So there is a possible lower high. I don't like this one in the slightest. I just don't like it. It may break below here and then push up. I mean, there is quite a nice looking correction, so it may come down. The bad thing was the signal bar. Yeah. I mean, we have had 2 legs. Usually when we have 2 legs, markets sort of... I mean, if you're buying here and you see 2 legs, this isn't the place to start jumping in, buy them, is it? So the natural thing you expect to happen is for it to come back to the EMA before buyers, if they are around, decide to get back in. So we're at this area now. So let's see what it does here. If we'd have had a lower high there and it had looked right, I may have had to go back to the EMA. Trouble is, I can see support there, so going short into that. My concern is this comes back and either tests here or has another attempt pushing up. See if it tests this area here then. Yeah. Not easy day today. They kind of look like they're going to be easy, don't they? Trending days, but they're not. Can't see how that's going to work now. Slow, frustrating day. So, based on that one, I'd say this is probably just one straight channel link. So if we can get a second entry short or 2 attempts to push up, there may be an option here. Okay. Where do we go from now then? Very slow day. We've got to have a decent correction, haven't we now, surely? Correction. 2 legs down to a new low. So, channel, break, 2 pushes to a new low. Well, let's see what happens. It's a bullish bar off the bottom there. Slow day today. Just a bit boring, to be honest with you, when it's doing this. We know where it's going. It's just finding a blooming entry. So, leg and a leg. Right at the bottom of this possible channel. You done, are you, Karina? You taking anything, have you? Not the easiest of days today, is it? I mean, depending how you trade these, there's a possible high or low there, but the trouble is with it being so damn bearish, I couldn't bring myself to do it. Good on you. Good on you. Okay, folks, I think I'm done. I can only trade for about another 15 minutes for my cutoff point is. So just to count the day to payment, I'm just going to switch over to micros in a minute and just trade for a 1 tick micro. I think I've won. I think I've been up, the exception of Friday, 3 small days and 1 loss, 4 days. So I just need 2 profitable days, but I can flip some. So I'm just going to flip. I'm just going to flip these just for a 1 tick, 1 micro. Tomorrow will be better. Yeah, let's hope so. So I appreciate your company. Well done if you've taken a trade. If you carry on trading, best of luck. Failing that, have a great evening. Stay safe and we'll catch up same time tomorrow. Bye for now.